ready to believe you.
All right, we're back with another episode of Ready to Believe. I'm Jamie Pale-Ryder.
Rob Williams.
And today we are talking about a really cool project that Tools and Talent, who we partner with, has put out called Sticks and Stones. You can find it on YouTube. Basically what it is an audiobook, but like an enhanced audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how it struck me. I don't know if that's what they were going for, like what Doc was going for, but yeah, it's basically like, you know, if you were listening to an audiobook, but it's enhanced by sound effects, some video clips, locations, that kind of stuff. Really cool project. Yeah, and we wanted to take some time today to go through our thoughts and give it a bit of a review.
Yeah, I would say audiobook is a good way to do it. But as throughout this whole episode of, in this case, Sticks and Stones, you see some video, but not enough to distract you. It's not like you're going, like, for example, in one of the scenes, they're talking while they're driving to the location. So it's just you're just looking at a car driving down the road. Enough to just
a little bit of extra flavor.
The environment's there, but you're not being distracted by certain things like acting or watching how they're performing. It's more just bringing the scenery in there.
Yeah, it's adding a little color to what's going on. But yeah, let's.
And it worked well that way.
What's that?
It worked well that way.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, let's get into it. So, basically, what Sticks and Stones is two members of the Ecto-Ordnance crew going on a job, investigating some paranormal phenomenon. I can't remember exactly what the setup was. So it felt like they were
ticker talkers.
Yeah, tiki talkers.
Tiki talkers.
I love that. I'm going to use that. Yeah. But they're being sent on a job to investigate this very cool venue or location.
It's a great location.
And investigate and eliminate.
Yeah. There was cannibalism involved. And the Wendigo, which is one of my favorite beasts.
Yeah. Dude, that's such a I love the use of like Native American mythology and that kind of thing. I thought that was such a cool touch.
We are going to spoil some things here.
Oh yeah, we're going to spoil the hell out of this. So,
Wendigo is not a spoiler
alert.
But it's not like it was a surprise. But so if you're listening to this, check out the video first. Again, links
definitely
will be below.
Watch Sticks and Stones first before you our review. But yeah, for me, like I said, the video and the sound effects and the music and that kind of stuff, it added a lot of flavor to the narration and the dialogue. I loved the sound effects, like the use of sound effects from the movies, from the video game.
Was there one from video games? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was intentional. I assume it was. Obviously, Doc is a huge Ghostbusters fan as well. But I definitely recognize some sound effects specifically from the 2009 video game. And that kind of... don't worry. I have a whole list of various references and whatnot. But yeah, that was the thing that stuck out to me right away. Is I'm like, that sounds like when your PKE tries to get your attention and goes off in Ghostbusters the video game.
That's good. That's good.
And just like the sound of the ecto goggles when you're looking through them and it's linked to your PKE. So yeah, there were some really good references in there, and we'll get into more of that in a moment. But Rob, initial thoughts, impressions?
I listened to I've listened to quite a few audiobooks over time. Some of my favorites were the Harry Potter series, and it's just like I enjoy a good audiobook. And so when you have music in there but not interfering, you have sound effects there but not interfering, it makes the experience enjoyable, and that's what
Sets the mood a little bit, right?
it sets a mood, and so that's what they're trying here, and it was a really good job. And I love the Wendigo. I'm more of a Sasquatch person. You can probably see it over my corner here. Like, I love the Sasquatch just based on where we live, but the Wendigo is a really good sort of creature that we don't experience in the Ghostbuster world, but you have all these sort of things. The field is wide open with all these different.
That's a great thing about Ghostbusters is there's so much room for possibility of not just ghosts, but the larger kind of paranormal. Well, like Ghostbusters 2 was Vigo like a painting, and slime like a substance. But yeah, getting into more of, and I mean, if you watch any episodes of the real Ghostbusters, like how they fought Cthulhu at one point.
The boogeyman.
Not just exactly. So it's not just ghosts, it's demons and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I love the choice of the Wendigo there. Before listening to Sticks and Stones, I didn't know much about the Wendigo beyond Marvel Comics. To me, I'm a
Alpha
big
Flight?
comic book nerd. Yeah, so Wendigo was a character in Marvel Comics, frequently went up against Wolverine, that kind of stuff. So that's all I knew.
Yeah, the real Wendigo's legend is a lot more scarier than that.
Oh yeah, and I kind of got the sense listening to Sticks and Stones that this is closer to like the actual like local legends and mythology and that kind of stuff, and it was pretty scary sounding. So I love that for the choice of the baddie. Oh, sorry, Rob, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say some of the things I really enjoyed. One of the things that you see in the video is his box setup. Now, I've seen his box setup when he...
The Boo Box?
Yeah.
So that was another one of my reference things that I wanted to call it. I love the terminology Boo Box. One, because I love Hook, and that's where I first heard the term Boo Box.
Is that from Hook? I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so the Boo Box in Hook was something that Captain Hook would stick people into as a punishment, and then he would drop the scorpions in, and they would say boo every time they drop the scorpions into the box. But I love them kind of adapting that and using it as like the term for a gearbox for the Ghostbusters.
Well, the box is impressive in itself.
Absolutely,
it's a real life box. See, I think he took it to the Hook and Ladder just recently.
Gave one out on Ghostbusters Day.
Oh wow! I didn't realize he gave it out.
Well, I think what happened was someone had like commissioned him to make one.
Oh, okay.
And then that was him delivering it. Was at the firehouse on Ghostbusters Day.
It's an impressive piece of work. It's impressive as hell.
Yeah.
So you get to see that, and you get to see some of the equipment that they use, and obviously they're dressed up in their Ecto-Ordnance gear, which is, it's a great little nod to themselves, really, and the brand. But
I love the use of the brand in the story and in the video. Like it's clearly individualized. Like they're not trying to be like, oh, we're a separate, franchise set up by Pete Venkman or whatever. No, they're their own thing, and it does have a bit of a different tone. Like that was one thing that struck me, was it felt very covert.
Yes.
And kind of under the radar. Like they're not going in like an Ecto-1 type vehicle. They're going in a blacked out SUV. They're telling people that they're animal control, that kind of stuff, which I found really interesting.
The guy about the squirrel.
The tiki talkers. Yeah. So that was that's super interesting as a take on that. I love the cover story. And running into the locals, dude. I want to talk about the venue, like where they're actually on site. God, I want to know where this is so I can go. It just looks like this old castle. I assume it's on the East Coast in the U.S.
It looks like it, yeah.
Oh, God, was it ever cool? Like that cool old tree with like the old like stone walls and like the big hearth. I loved that. It was such a cool setting for something like for a paranormal investigation. Yeah. Absolutely.
You can tell that he was inspired by the location.
Totally.
And it's just like this. He had when you can tell this that Doc went to this place and checked it out and was like, oh, I got an idea for this.
Oh, so cool. Yeah, I love that, and I want to go there now. I kind of want to find locations like that locally now.
Oh, I got a spot for you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. It's it's not a castle. It's a freaking beat up shack on the way up to one of the what was it? Is it Hemlock? So I remember going on this trail walk and finding this. It used to be an old ski shack when it was a little bit lower. And you go in there now, you find this old mattress inside that it looks like the Unabomber lived there for the last 5 years. It is friggin' scary as hell.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's lots of good paranormal kind of adjacent locations. Like that was one thing when I went over to the island recently. We walked by the Empress Hotel.
Oh yeah.
And Hosnose was explaining to me how haunted the Empress was, and like, it is such a cool building. I kind of want to go and do like an investigation.
I've stayed there a few nights.
Have you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you any feelings of dread?
Well, this is the thing. I don't believe in ghosts at all. I am not.
No, me neither.
I don't buy all that. I think it's so but I no feeling of dread. I mean, they got updated a little bit, but that's beside the point. I was on the gold floor, so it was on the special floor. But but remember we went to that hotel Vancouver downtown.
Yeah, the Fairmont.
There's the legend of
they have their local ghost story for sure. Yeah, the Lady in Red, which I also want to do an investigation. But again, cool old buildings. But yeah, getting back to Sticks and Stones. I love the venue. God, what a cool kind of setting for this kind of story of people investigating the paranormal and random kind of violent disturbances. That was so that brings me to my second reference that kind of stuck out to me is did you catch the Blair Witch reference?
Oh yeah, I think they were talking about the TikToks.
They're talking about the TikTokers making their YouTube videos.
Yeah, so there's like
the video by the teens full of exaggerated expressions, runny noses, and tearful eyes. I'm like, oh wow, that's Blair Witch. I love it.
Blair Witch is good. You ever watch any of those YouTube videos of people trying to do paranormal investigations or anything like that?
I used to watch. Not necessarily YouTube videos, but I would watch on occasion ghost hunters on, I can't remember if it was like on Discovery or on TLC or something like that, but stuff like that is like, it's reality TV at its core, and they're trying to like artificially inflate the drama or the tension. Come on, just show me an actual investigation. You don't need to pump up the stakes or anything for me. I just want to see what goes down. Like I want to see, how are you investigating? What's the science behind it? What tools are you using? That kind of stuff. I stopped watching that show, I haven't watched any YouTube stuff. How about you?
Oh no, I don't bother at all. I like I said, I find a lot of that stuff silly and ridiculous, so I don't.
I would love to go on an actual paranormal investigation, though. I
don't because the human mind will convince you of things that are not there. That's just how it is. And then I'm going to be trying to. It's like these people who will take us on the tour will try to convince us of other things, and your mind will carry yourself away. And I don't want to be told a story. It's not my thing. I've been on like Halloween tours, and we went to the Vancouver Crime Museum and stuff like that. And it was interesting seeing that. But you start off in a graveyard. It's I'm like, I'm more interested on actual.
I'm talking about an actual investigation, not a tour.
No, but that's where I'm saying
scientific equipment, and you actually investigate or try and explain
scientific equipment.
Well, that's the thing is like I want to approach it as like someone thinks that there's something strange in the neighborhood. Rob, who are you gonna call? And just explain like, you bring your EMF meter and you'd be like, oh, there's a short in the wiring behind this wall, and that caused this weird feeling that you had, that kind of stuff. Like, I want to explain that stuff. I think that'd be really fun to kind of deduce the actual cause. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I guess I'm too much of a skeptic. So.
I don't believe in ghosts whatsoever. And At the end of the day, though, I would be pleasantly surprised if I did see something actually convincing. But my approach to it would be, going in to explain with science why it's not a ghost.
Mhm.
Like, that'd be cool.
I'm not smart enough to do that either, though. I don't believe, but I don't have no science basis.
Again, we're getting a little off track here. Going back to Sticks and Stones, another fun reference. I love, like, you can tell Doc is such a huge Ghostbusters fan with a deep love of all things Ghostbusters. So the next reference I caught was around the ecto goggles being able to see spectral trails, dimensional rifts, and cursed phenomena. That to me screamed Spirits Unleashed. Because you can see ghosts, like their trails when they sprint away. You can see, like, you have to blow up rifts when you uncover them from cursed objects, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I love all these references. Like, also the notion of the ecto goggles being linked to your PKE is something directly from the 2009 video game.
I sense there's a lot of love when it comes to the technology of
I
the Ghostbuster
wanted to get
world.
into that. Yeah. There's a lot of really cool dialogue and details around the technology and around the terminology too.
Mm-hmm.
When they're talking about things like Kirlian resonance or Kirlian emanations. That sounds familiar. Like, I went back and I tracked it down to Ghostbusters 2. When Egon and Ray are looking at photos of Vigo that they had taken in their photo lab in the firehouse, and Ray is talking about Kirlian emanations coming off the photos, or like, aura on this sucker, like that kind of stuff. Like, I love that kind of stuff sprinkled in, because I don't know if it's necessarily like more of a deep cut thing, but it's something that will resonate with big Ghostbusters fans, and it absolutely resonated with me. I love that stuff. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
How about you? Was there anything that stuck out to you that you're like, oh, that's cool? Or you mentioned the technology.
No, it's mostly to do with, like I said, the Wendigo and the trees and all that sort of stuff. That's and just the actual moment of fighting the Wendigo. I was more of the action. When it comes to the technological side of things, I kind of get a little bit lost. And I'm not saying just with this, like Star Trek, Star Wars, anything where the technobabble happens. I get a little bit lost because I'm not very technologically savvy. So.
Well, I feel like Star Trek and Ghostbusters, I feel like in a lot of cases are very similar in that they use technobabble to basically... It takes a place of like magic or supernatural, that kind of stuff. Like, it's putting this technobabbly scientific type explanation onto something that's really not explainable.
Oh yeah.
Which I mean, that's Star Trek, that's Ghostbusters through and through. Like, I'm sure if you've ever watched an interview with Dan Aykroyd where he's talking about, spiritual inhabitation and investigation and that kind of stuff. God, he will just go on about the different kinds of technology. And like, even when he was helping write Ghostbusters, and like, it was all in his head, all the stuff on top of the Ecto-1 that all has a very specific purpose that we just, in our current day and age and our level of technology, isn't necessarily possible. But in his head, it's all possible with the right technology, and it's all got a purpose and a function. So yeah, that was... I love seeing stuff like that come through.
Definitely has the world building.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, that definitely shone through here as well. Like, I love the use of that same kind of, like, the technology and the technobabble as Doc and his partner go through their investigation.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so you mentioned the Wendigo fight itself. As we're kind of wrapping things up here, let's talk about that, because that was obviously, that's like the climax of the story where they finally kind of flush out the Wendigo.
Well, here's some things I would suggest, and it connects with this. I would have my suggestion for the next episode would be to like in Ghostbusters 1, we have the ghost in the library, and lady gets scared. Roll credits. In Ghostbusters 2, how did that start again? That was
started with Oscar in the carriage.
Yes,
being
Oscar
taken
in the
down
carriage.
the street.
So you're building up that tension right off the bat. There's something bad happening in the neighborhood, and it's just like we start with that.
Maybe we see the tiki talkers trying to eat each other.
Exactly. I think we should have seen some sort of situation where we introduce the Wendigo early. Maybe you don't even call it the Wendigo, but something happened, and we need to build up that tension right up the beginning to catch. Okay, here we go, because the Wendigo being introduced at the end during the fight scene was good. It was a great moment. It was a great, the way it was described was really well done. But I think we could have brought that at the beginning and build up the curiosity there, instead of starting with a van ride to the location and then having that discussion happen. So I think building up that would have been a great idea, because it really, the idea of this Wendigo and this monster is great. The cannibalism, all that sort of stuff. So that would be a suggestion for the next one. Whatever your next monster or ghost is, introduce it early. Introduce the concept or the scare or the moment early, and then now we can build up to that moment.
That's something that Ghostbusters 1 and 2 did really well, is they don't even necessarily reveal the monster or the ghost or the villain right away. You just see its effect on regular people, like with the librarian, with Dana and Oscar, and rolling the baby carriage through the slime, that kind of thing. But yeah, I agree. It's I mean, that's a classic Hollywood technique, is, you know, you grab your audience in the first 10 minutes.
Yes, and I think that's what needed.
Roll into the exposition and whatnot, and explain like what the hell is going on. Overall,
because it's a great classic. It's a great classic monster, and you and me, we played. Well, you play it more than I do. Phantasmophobia, or what's it called? Phasmophobia.
Yeah.
And there's a list of different spirits and ghosts and stuff like that. So you have a lot to choose from, and I know that Doc would be more knowledgeable in the style of scare that each provide. The fear they each provide.
So I love that about them using the Wendigo and having that manifest in the disturbances that they're investigating, in the form of violence and cannibalism, and that being kind of like the disturbing event that caused Doc and his partner to go investigate. And tying that into the Wendigo without calling it a Wendigo right away. It's just, something scary happened here. It involved violence and cannibalism. There's a history of it. People that were working there would never work past dark. And some tiki-talkers went in there after dark, and bad things happened.
And then the locals are talking about a local legend or something like that. And
I love the idea of the local legends.
And
that's so cool. That's such a cool way to make it unique and a little more personal. Especially, like, I'm really curious now if this is like a local legend or local mythology that is local to Doc.
Could possibly.
That would be so cool. And what a cool way to kind of spin it and make it your own.
Because when you think of local legends, you always think, the locals, they're a bunch of hicks. They don't know what they're talking about. It's just must be all the vapor from the factory down the street, sort of thing. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh crap, they were right. And,
swamp gases, weather balloons, and alligators in the sewers.
Exactly. And then maybe, you know, later on you discover that it was sort of, you don't want it to be that Scooby-Doo moment where it was old man Hinkle down the street the whole time, right?
No,
but you could throw that in there a couple times.
That's what Ghostbusters is all about, right? That is the science, but then it is the supernatural. That's what makes it so much fun.
So that's my biggest suggestion for future, because I have a feeling he wants to do more of this, and
I hope so.
Totally,
this was really cool, and it's such a cool
encourage
idea. I love the idea of an enhanced audiobook. I hope that's what he's going for, and I'm not just like kind of misconstruing his intentions. But I love that idea. And it's such a what a cool thing, like the process of making this, like going out to a spooky location in costume, taking photos and videos, and getting like your B-roll and some like kind of key video sequences of, you know, the PKE on the tripod and watching it work, and like bringing out the boo box and like gearing up from the car and things like that. Like, what a fun thing that would be to go out and make this. And it's definitely, I feel like it's something that has come through, is like, it looks like they had a ton of fun making it on location.
And you avoid that situation. Like, I'm not gonna, like, I don't know what Doc's acting skills are like in video and stuff. It avoids all that, where you don't have to worry about how's my acting, and just focus on the environment, as we talked about at the start of the show.
Yeah, you focus on the story, right? Like, it's all about the story. I love it. Yeah, because 100%, like, there's, you know, fan films in, you know, Star Wars and that kind of thing they're all over the place. Like, they're everywhere. And yeah,
you were in one.
We were. And it's, you want it to be genuine and real. And like you said, not everyone's an actor. So I feel like they made Sticks and Stones in a very elegant way that kind of does sidestep that
right.
kind of fan film pitfall. And you really you're seeing the cool stuff. You're seeing people in the gear. You're seeing the equipment. You're seeing the cool setting. And yeah, you're just letting the voiceover and the narration do the work in terms of story and exposition. Love it. Yeah. So that's basically all I had to talk about here.
Great job, Doc. Great job.
Yes.
We'll put a link down below, and subscribe to their channel. And
if you're listening or watching this video, hopefully you watched Sticks and Stones before. If not, we just spoiled the hell out of it for you. But
it's kind of
go and watch it if you haven't. If you did not heed our warnings about spoilers, definitely go and check it out. It's a really cool concept. For that enhanced audiobook, and I hope there's more. It kind of inspired me a little bit to want to go out and do some photos and video at a spooky location, like we did last Ghostbusters Day, actually, at SFU.
That was fun.
Because we found some good locations. We found that weird piano in the middle of a outdoor courtyard that was very spooky, and like the library and things like that. So,
Brutalism architecture is always pretty spooky in general. There's a depressing feel that you get from brutalism. So it definitely made me want to do more of that as a group. Good on you, Doc, for this. That was great all around. So that's pretty much it for a review of Sticks and Stones. Let us know in the comments what you thought of it. And hopefully there will be more to come from Tools and Talent. And like and subscribe. Please help the channel grow, both to us and to Ecto-Ordnance.
The GXW podcast YouTube channel, as well as Ecto-Ordnance, Tools and Talents. If you're a Ghostbusters costumer, check out the Tools and Talent website. They have a ton of stuff that is ready to go to enhance your pack build, your costume itself, all that stuff. And Doc does great work. And we have a link below if you want to get a discount on your purchase. Do. If you use the link below, you will get a discount on Doc's site, which he was generous enough to provide us. So with that said, it's a great place to wrap it up. So until next time, I'm Jamie Pale Rider. Rob Williams. We're ready to believe you.